still within reach for the Cowboys, coming off a win over San Francisco in addition to a Washington loss to Seattle. Welcome into Cowboys Rewind. I'm Dani Sureck. The Cowboys can clinch the NFC East and make the playoffs as long as they win their last 2 games and Washington loses theirs. Dallas is coming off their first back-to-back wins of the season with some true complimentary football over the 49ers. The Cowboys were able to put up 41 points in large part because of the field positioning from the defense. Dallas forced 4 turnovers, which is a major improvement for this team from the first half of the season. Through their first 9 games, Dallas forced just 7 turnovers. Their last 5, 11. Kyle Yeomans and Isaiah Stanback take us into the film room to show us how the defense was so successful against the 49ers and how that can help them this week against the Eagles.
D-Law showed up. We've been asking for him to show up. He's been doing a lot of little things, right? But he came out here, he made a big splash. But he didn't do it by himself. He brought his boys with him, right? He brought his boys with him.
That's the fun part about it.
That's the fun part, man. You don't want to get home, man, by yourself. You want your boys to come over, man. And that's exactly what he did here. We see D-Law getting off the ball. Look at the get off. Would you look at this, man? Look at it, dip and rip, driving them back. I want everybody to pay attention to Mr. Randy Gregory right here. He comes from that left end position, comes all the way inside to where the center has to try to pick him up, and they squeeze this pocket down. When they squeeze this pocket down, you see Mr. D-Law right there with the good old strips. And if we can, run it back for me one time. I want everybody to see something else, all right? All the way back to the wide view. So as we're talking about D-Law, as we're talking about Randy Gregory, I want everybody to see something else. There's a thing called a coverage sack. Thing called a coverage sack. We don't know much about that this year, right? But we had all of our guys back there in the secondary this week.
Yeah,
we had
top 4
we had our top 4 corners. Absolutely. So when you have your top 4 corners, look at this. These guys are coming up with switch release. This is something that's causing some issues with communication in the past. Man on, man on, man on, man on, free safety. There's nobody to throw to, right? Nobody to throw to. So not only does that cause a quarterback to hold on to the ball a little bit more, but it lets your boys get home. And that's exactly what we did here. And we got the strip sack and got the nice little turnover.
And that is so beautiful whenever it comes to this Cowboys defense, because you've been waiting on this to happen. You've been finally waiting, but you're going to have to do it again this week because Jalen Hurts is coming to town, and this is a rookie that has found a bit of a rhythm, not just running, and he's not a runner anymore. He had 3 touchdowns in the first half against Arizona, and he can finally throw the rock.
Yeah, the Hurt business is coming to town, and the thing is, you know, some people, you know, when the door is cracked, they kind of peek in, you know, and then you got guys like Jalen Hurts, and the door opened up, he just kicked the door in once he saw his opportunity, and he has been balling out. He's come in, he's done a great job protecting the ball, and everybody talks about his ability, how athletic he is, right? He can run the ball. He's a running quarterback. Well, he's not doing that. He's sitting back in the pocket and throwing the rock. And if we want any opportunity to beating these guys this week and continue our opportunity to go to the playoffs, we have to be able to get home because we can't just expect him to run around in circles all day long. He's not Russell Wilson. He's Jalen Hurts. So here we go right here. He's going to drop back, and I want you guys to see the nice little stutter step right here. Boom. Kills him on the route, and he has all the time in the world. Look at his pocket. And he throws an absolute strike. Again, everybody talks about his running ability. The boy has a cannon. He has a cannon, and when you give this man an opportunity to sit back in the pocket, nice and comfortable, boom, pause right there. Look at these guys pick up their nice little cross right here. These guys got 5 for 5 right here, perfect, and he killed him on his one-on-one opportunity. Watch this dime. This thing comes on a rope. Woo! Even in slow motion, it's fast. I don't know what we can do, but we have to get back there, and we need what they did on the last play on when we're playing last week. D-Law, Gregory, the whole committee, we need to get home on Jalen Hurts and not allow him to be comfortable.
And just how the Cowboys have found a bit of a rhythm on the offensive side of the football, especially up front with that offensive line. Same thing with Philadelphia. They've had a ton of injuries, but they've started to put things together over the last couple of weeks. Even though they lost against Arizona, they were in that game up until the very end.
The Cowboys were pass heavy against the 49ers, and that raised a few eyebrows. We talk about the rotation of the wide receivers and who should be getting more targets next.
Cowboys Rewind is brought to you by AT&T Academy, the official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys, and by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
The Cowboys had a pass-heavy game in their win over the 49ers, and the reason that's so interesting is because of how the ball was distributed. Number 1 receiver Amari Cooper was the least targeted wideout. Cooper finished with just 2 receptions on 3 targets compared to Noah Brown, who's usually a 5th receiver. Brown finished with 1 reception on 6 targets. This week on the Break podcast, the crew discusses how that ball was distributed and whether or not they agree with that plan.
Let me preface by saying this, because I think there's two different ideas here. I hate the idea that like everybody on the offense has to have a big day for it to be a successful day. I think fantasy football has warped people's brains. Where there's only one football, and oh, by the way, you have a backup offensive line and a backup quarterback. If CeeDee Lamb is having a great day, that might not mean Michael Gallup or Amari Cooper is going to have this huge day, and that's okay, especially if you win the football game. Now, what I don't like is that Noah Brown is a focal point of this offense when Amari Cooper's not. Like, if Amari Cooper is quiet because everybody else is balling out, that's A-okay. If Amari Cooper's not getting targeted because they're making this crazy concerted effort to get the ball to Noah Brown, I do not understand that. And I love Noah Brown. I've been one of the few people, I feel like I've backed his entire career. I wanted him on the team when nobody did. But that doesn't mean I want him getting 6 targets in a game where Amari Cooper goes by the wayside. Like, I don't get it. No, I don't think it's normal the way they rotate these receivers where any one of the big 3 might be out of the game for a prolonged period of time. And I know Michael Gallup got hurt in this game, so maybe that's part of it. But no, I thought it was bizarre. Kellen Moore was kind of asked about it yesterday, and he was like, well, it stands to reason you want to go with the favorable matchup. Well, can't the favorable matchup be CeeDee Lamb then?
Right.
Just Noah Brown's, Noah Brown 6 targets. And it certainly seemed like a lot of those were like a concerted effort, like this is a Noah Brown play. And it baffled me. So Amari Cooper doesn't have to be great every week if the offense is still good. But I still thought that was really perplexing. I didn't get it.
Amber.
No, I agree with everything that Dave said. Didn't make any sense to me. And I don't know if it's just my own memory or what, but I feel that not just in that game, just in general throughout the whole season, this is a year where I feel that Amari Cooper has been very forgettable. Like, there's nothing that necessarily stands out in my head when I think about the passing game and him. And I feel that I don't know why. I would want the Cowboys to utilize him a lot more. And I know you got CeeDee Lamb, and he's been a great player. I mean, he's made some amazing catches, but at the same time, I mean, why not use all your best wide receivers? And it's not a matter of just one game specific. I just think that that's how I see it throughout the season as a whole. So in this game specifically, I have no idea why the Cowboys can't even speak now, chose to target Noah Brown so many times instead of other receivers.
Yeah, I don't know what Noah Brown gives you. He's a physical guy that can be a blocker, and I don't know if I said this on this show or somewhere else, but I just
said it on your radio here that day.
There's one particular play where it was just like you ran a bubble screen to Noah Brown for Cooper to block. I mean, Cooper's not a blocker, and Noah Brown's not really a playmaker like that. He can block. I mean, flip it. Yeah, I did say it on there because I said Emmett. I thought that was funny. Yeah, Emmett never blocked for Moose. Like, right. Why do you have to flip this around like that?
Listen live to the Break podcast weekdays at 11:30 on DallasCowboys.com. The Cowboys are familiar with their opponent this week, their division rival, the Philadelphia Eagles. However, this week, their matchup will look a little different. We tell you why right after this. The 4-9-1 Eagles are doing everything they can to win out this season and make a push for the playoffs, even if it means making a change at quarterback. Carson Wentz has been benched for rookie Jalen Hurts, the Eagles' second-round draft pick this year out of Oklahoma. This will be Hurts' third start of the season, a rookie who's got some speed under those legs. This week on Special Edition, the crew breaks down what Hurts brings to the table and how the Cowboys' defense can prepare to stop him.
Jalen Hurts making his third NFL start as a rookie out of both Alabama and Oklahoma. He's been impressive so far. Let's go around the horn. Isaiah, what do you see when you see Jalen Hurts and the impact he's made on this Eagles team, replacing Carson Wentz a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, he's bringing energy, man, and he brings a dual threat, opportunity at that position, the quarterback position. He's obviously came in shaking some things up. When you face Jalen Hurts, you not only have to respect his running ability, but you also have to respect the fact that he can sit back there in that pocket and pick you apart as well. They didn't get the W last week, but he was very efficient throwing the ball.
You know, I like this kid, and I've been watching him since Bama on his way through OU. Man, you used to talk about him a little bit, Bill. He's a little too casual with that football sometimes. A greater passes, I think he's going to be in a devastating runner. He's got to be more ball secure with his thoughts.
You know, it's funny, Nate and Isaiah, when I look at Jalen, he reminds me a lot of the Cowboys quarterback, Dak Prescott. Watching him when he was coming through Alabama, he reminded me a lot of how Dak played at Mississippi State. And I think the best thing that he has brought to that Philadelphia team has been his leadership ability. His poise, his calm, his confidence has really given this Eagles team a bit of a life and some identity. And I think they're playing well because of it. He is really a solid player for them. We'll see if he's able to keep that up.
And following up, Nate, with you on Jalen, what about this Dallas defense in defending the run and just the threat, as you've watched Jalen not only in his short time in the NFL, but also in college, his ability to run the football?
It's about assignments with him. If you do not do that option, that run option, and read it correctly and stay in your gaps and stay in your – this kid will crush you. He is legit.
You know, and he's different from Kyler Murray and other running quarterbacks in that it's not so much his speed, although he ran a 4.59 at the combine. Bucky, when you look at him, he's got that power as well. I mean, this guy was a power lifter in high school. He's like another running back in the backfield, isn't he?
Absolutely. And I think Nate talks about it. Like, you have to be on your keys. And I think the scary thing could be, we saw how the Baltimore Ravens were able to use Lamar, like the running game and those things or whatever. Now you talk about Jalen Hurts, who's not explosive like Lamar Jackson, but he poses a threat. You have to account for him. He, once again, the Cowboys' eye discipline and their overall physicality will be toughness with him in the ballgame.
All right, let's go around the horn about the Eagles' defense. And what are the Cowboys facing in Philly's defense? Fletcher Cox makes another Pro Bowl. That's 6 in his career, and he's dominant in the middle of that defensive line. But what do you see, Isaiah?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Fletcher Cox seems like he's been around forever, but he's a big man up front. He controls the scrimmage. He's strong when we're weak up front right now, and they're going to be very aggressive in that front seven. In the secondary, they're going to play pretty soft because they have some veterans back there that can keep everything in front of them.
You can watch Special Edition Saturday nights at 11 on CBS 11. The NFL announced this year's Pro Bowlers, and there's a shocking number of Cowboys on that list. Stay where you are. More Cowboys Rewind coming your way right after this. Welcome back into Cowboys Rewind. The Pro Bowlers were announced this week after all the votes from players, coaches, and fans were counted. For the first time since 1989, 31 years ago, not a single Dallas Cowboy made the list. It's just the third time in franchise history Dallas will not be represented at the Pro Bowl. Their 5-9 record plays a part in that, sure, but also injuries to key players. Players who have been perennial Pro Bowlers just didn't get a full season to showcase their talents. Bill Jones, Mickey Spagnola, and Pro Bowler himself, Everson Walls, talk about the lack of Cowboys on this Pro Bowl roster and who they have their eye on to make it in the future. Here's Mick Shots.
Look at this Cowboy roster now. Do you see potential future Pro Bowlers?
I was going to ask that question. That's a good one.
Yeah, I definitely see one.
So I'll start
I definitely see one.
I'll start with C.D. Lamb.
There you go.
Now I'll let you guys each take a shot. Give me somebody.
I got to go with just because you named a wide receiver, I'm going to go with DeMarcus Lawrence. But of course, Amari Cooper, guys. his consistency is still there, even this year.
And those guys have already been Pro
just
Bowlers.
Think about.
I want a new guy.
Well, yeah.
You want new guys.
So you want someone that hadn't made it then?
Yes. See, I thought
Someone that hasn't
I'll
made
give you another one. If he had been healthy, I thought Lael Collins was on his way to be a Pro Bowl offensive tackle. I thought he had a really good year last year. Unfortunately, he didn't play.
Where one of the problems that works against him, there's so many other Cowboy offensive linemen that are Pro Bowlers.
Offensive line, right?
That's right. And all right, so Everson, what do you think about Trey? What's his potential in this league?
I don't see it yet. I just don't see it yet because the culture is not there. Unless he can come in like Mel Renfro did, like I did, like Mike Downs, to where you just, all of a sudden, here they come and boom, there's the playmaking ability right there. He's going to have to rise very, very quickly. Now, just because you're not a Pro Bowler, to me, that's not a knock on you as a player. There's a lot of guys that didn't make the Pro Bowl out there that are extremely valuable to their team and their system. And if you don't get recognized from a league-wide standpoint, sometimes that guy can be your guy and you still don't make the Pro Bowl. And I got to throw your boy in there, Leighton Vander Esch. I think
if he
has
healthy.
the potential, if he could just stay away from the injuries, and if this defense can somehow get a lot of, I wouldn't say other people around him, but if they can just somehow get a hold of this system and get the right fit, whether it's player coach, calls, whether it's, teammates around you, I think he could be a linchpin for our defense and its improvement, because he's not going to make it with this defense. I'm saying with the stats that we're talking about right now. The defense has to improve, and therefore he has to be a product of that improvement. But I think it can happen.
Okay, I'll give you.
Of course, he has made the Pro Bowl already in his career. His rookie year, he made the Pro Bowl. Leighton Vander Esch, he was an add-in.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
And that's the other difference. That's the other difference between now and the 80s when Everson was going. There weren't guys opting out so much back in the 80s as what there is now.
We look forward to that trip. And no one was making a lot of money, so there was no fear of losing big salaries and the way it is right now.
Now those players, they're not paying for the trips anyway the rest of the year. They not only get themselves, their families, their girlfriends, whoever, They got endorsement deals that send them over there, wherever they want to go around the world. Why do they care about going to the
and at the time, I don't know what they're paying now, but at the time, if you won, you got 10 G's. If you lost, something like 7,500.
Oh, they changed
So
it.
unless you're going to raise the purse, but even so, it's got to change significantly because the salaries have just gone through the roof from where they were at the time.
So I'm going to give you.
The Pro Bowl will never be a competitive game again.
Yeah, I'm going to give you one more, and this may come out of the blue, but I think Tyler Biadasz has a shot at this. I think that had he not strained his hamstring, he still would be the starting center, and Joe Looney would be the backup.
You can listen live to the Mix Shots podcast weekdays at 1:30 on DallasCowboys.com. It's the holiday season, and the Star at Night is feeling generous. We hear the gifts they're giving this Cowboys team right after this. It's the holiday season and the season of giving. That's why David Hellman and Kelsey Charles are feeling a little generous and played Secret Santa, sharing the gifts they would give this Cowboys team on the Star at Night.
Kelsey, speaking of gifts, let's play a little Secret Santa while we're at it. You're playing the role of Santa. I know I've got the hat, but you're playing the role. If you could give the Dallas Cowboys any gift this holiday season, what would you do?
Immunity would be my first one. That's the number one gift I would give this Dallas Cowboys team. I would love to have any and all the players back that we lost this entire season. And yeah, once I'm done giving them that and their full strength back, I just want to give them a hug because it's been a rough year for all of us. I'm not just going to give the team a hug. I'm going to give all of you guys a hug because way to hang in there and be loyal fans. We understand it's been rough, but you know what, guys? It can only go up from here. So that's the kind of gifts that I'm going to give this season. What about you, Dave?
I'll keep this short and sweet. I'm going to give the Dallas Cowboys the gift of time. 1, because it's free, and 2, because they're going to need it to get Dak Prescott under contract. You can tag him. You got until March and April to get the deal done. Please just get it done. You got all the time in the world. Let's just sit down at the table and do it.
I am very on board with Dak.
Be sure to watch the Start Night Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays on all Dallas Cowboys social platforms. It's a must-win game for the Cowboys this week in order to keep their playoff hopes alive. They host the Eagles Sunday afternoon from AT&T Stadium. Just before kickoff, though, you'll want to tune into Cowboys pregame live. That starts at 2 and airs on all Dallas Cowboys social platforms, and that crew will get you covered on all things you need to know before kickoff. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Thank you so much for tuning in to Cowboys Rewind. Until next time, I'm Dani Sureck.
Cowboys Rewind was brought to you by AT&T, SWBC Mortgage, financial solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit swbc.com. And by the Dallas Cowboys Football Club. Want to tour AT&T Stadium? For more information, call 817-892-TOUR or visit dallascowboys.com/tours.